Día de Muertos, Day of the Dead, pre-Hispanic Mexican tradition. What is the Day of the Dead? The Day of the Dead is a Mexican holiday of pre-Hispanic origin that is celebrated on 1st and 2nd of November. It celebrates the dead and the lived ones of loved ones who have passed away in the order to remember them. Over time, this tradition has been adapted, giving rise to a different way of celebrating it in different parts of Mexico. How is this day celebrated? We celebrate by making altars with foods of our dead, dressing up as school, eating pan de muerto, sugar skulls, and typical Mexican food, Catrinas with Mexican dances, and many families go to the cemetery to visit their decadent relatives and make altar for them.
Origin of the Day of the Dead. The tradition of the Day of the Dead dates back to pre-Hispanic times and can be found in almost all indigenous communities in Mesoamerica. It is an ancient tradition that has been maintained despite the Spanish conquest until the present day. However, it has evolved as it has adopted some Catholic customs and images that have been created over time. The celebration of the faithful departed in Mexico has experienced in pre-Hispanic times. According to historians, the Mexicans have several periods through the year to celebrate the dead, the most important of which took place at the end of the harvest between the months of September and November, as the society believed that life continued even in the afterlife, which is why they considered the existence of four destinies for people, depending on how they die: the Tonatiuhcan, the Tlalocan, the Chichihuacuaco, and the Mictlan. The Mictlan, the Kingdom of the Dead. This was the place where most of the dead went. To reach the Mictlan, the dead had to wait 4 years, during which time they were devoured by Tlatecuhtli, the goddess of the earth. Once this was completed, a journey through the 9 temples of the Mexica underworld began.
Rituals and offerings. Some of today's rituals are asking for calaverita, visiting the cemetery, and above all, the ofrendas. Pre-Hispanic cultures always sought to communicate with death, so they created different types of altars in which they placed offerings for their dead. Both European altars and those of pre-Hispanic cultures were placed to honor those loved ones who were no longer in the earthly world. However, the offerings that are made today have characteristics of both traditions, as they evolve together to what we have today. These are some basic elements of the altar. Pan de muerto. Another tradition, this time gastronomic, is the pan de muerto. The origin of the pan de muerto dates back to the time of the conquest, when human sacrifices were practiced. The Spaniards found this practice so violent that they suggest preparing a wet bread covered with red sugar, which simulated the heart of the maidens without them having to lose their lives. And it's known that in Mesoamerica, a bread of ground amaranth was prepared, and after mixing it with the blood of the sacrifices, it was offered to the gods. These were the first things of pan de muerto, which has been modified into what we know it as today. The circle at the center of the bread symbolizes the skull of the deceased, and the raised strips are an imitation of the bones that shape us.
Celebrating the Day of the Dead is a celebration of life, of taking things that are smile and loathing, because nothing lasts forever and you have to enjoy with it last. Thanks!